How's it going, my dudes? Welcome back to another video. I hope you enjoyed yourself with the Reggie EX runs. But if you have not yet tried it out, here's a little video on how we are doing it. So I'm hosting for some of my Discord members. We have No Lang and we have Who. So let's take a look at the run real quick here. As you can see, No Lang, who is the player in the middle, he lacks a Viron, and Who on the right is just simply a jumble of units, but he is doing his best right now. You can see that there are these 6 balls around the boss, right? So each of these balls, they actually buff the boss with fire resistance buff. So it's not exactly 100% accurate that you need to break the boss in order to remove the fire resistance buffs that he has. All you really need to do is, okay, when you break the boss, you actually do an AoE nuke, right? And the AoE nuke will actually get rid of the 6 balls that is around the boss. And as long as you smash the balls, then he actually loses that buff. So if you kill 3 balls, you actually clear 3 buffs that way. Now, in comparison to the Golem EX, this boss is extremely easy. However, I do have some comments to make over here. Number 1, you do not need Jin as long as you have a Noen. I've realized that as long as someone in the party has a Noen, everyone is actually going to have enough heals, so to speak. The bare minimum should be about maybe 2 Noens. That will guarantee you a very safe run because each Noen heals a lot. So with 2 Noens, you don't really need a Jin at all. The poison damage that he does is I think about 100 or 150. It differs. Okay, I've seen 100 DPS on the boss and I've also seen 150. Well, technically it's not DPS because it's per 2 seconds, but you get the idea. Now, secondly, I've noticed that we failed to 9 combo quite a number of times at the start. That's because Viron, he has a really close proximity, but because of the balls that is surrounding Regitare, it's a bit difficult for us to reach Regitare to be close enough for the AI to say, okay, let's proc Viron's skill. So there are many times that Viron doesn't actually go, and that's where I think Rolf really shines, because Rolf hits the entire map, so he doesn't have a proximity requirement, and Hanabi does not have a proximity requirement as well, so you can actually pair Hanabi with Rolf very well. And Rolf is kind of like the fire Viron, so to speak. So if you want to have more reliable 9 combo runs, then definitely everyone in the party should have a Rolf. And not only that, Rolf is also fire type, which means that all your Golem EX armaments, they are going to be boosted much more. Okay, and I think because I introduced the Elia Light SD in the Golem EX, I should definitely address light skill damage for Regitare EX. Now, simply put, light skill damage doesn't work here. It's really terrible, and it's not because light SD is bad, but it's actually because Golem EX is super tough, and Golem EX is only super tough because water units in general kind of suck right now. So literally, even a light SD team is gonna do a lot more damage to the boss than a strong water team. But yeah, okay, light SD doesn't actually beat all the water teams. There are some water teams that are definitely much stronger than a light SD team, but I'm just saying, like, if you're an average player, a light SD team is going to be able to push you to higher DPS than building a water team. Okay, so that's the end of the first run. I'll continue the topic of the light SD in just a moment over here. Let's take a look at the timing. We are a little bit slow, but hard carry. We did 2 minutes and 12 seconds. This is actually quite slow on an average run, very much unlike Golem EX. But the thing is, for Regitare EX, it is so easy to build a Hanabi because both Hanabi and Elia are both 4-star characters, so they are both equally easy to obtain, and therefore you don't really need like a Sonya, for example, right? So that's one of the main selling point of the light SD team, but that you don't see that here because yeah, Hanabi is super OP as well. So point number 2 that I noticed is that Hanabi actually procs everyone's skill gauges from the start, and that's going to be able to get you a 9 combo immediately. You don't really have that with a light SD team. So without the instant break at the start, you're going to slow down your runs quite a bit because you're going to be throwing a lot of power flips on a boss that has a lot of fire resistance, right? Oh yeah, and the third point that I wanted to make is that water teams generally are very weak, which is what I've just talked about earlier. And finally, my 4th point as to why light SD doesn't work for Regitare EX is because you have so many of your Golem EX armaments that now your fire teams are so jacked up. Okay, as long as you have been diligently farming Golem EX like I have, then you should be well equipped right now to face Regitare very easily because the fire armaments that you can get from the Golem EX shop is so strong. So I guess that's it for the updates that I have in terms of my experiences with Regitare EX. It's generally very easy to beat. Usually your normal team is gonna be like maybe 1.5 minutes on a pub, right? Sometimes you can go as fast as 1 minute. I heard that some people can even one-pun the boss. I have not seen that myself, but I'm really curious to see how that looks like. So throughout all the runs that I've done today, I think the most powerful team is definitely going to be the power flip team. It's going to look like something that I've suggested, or like how one of my Discord moderators, Undisabled, he actually uses a slightly different team. He stacks Noen on top of New Year's Luluka, so at the start you have a lot more power flip damage because New Year's Luluka actually gives you an extra 100% power flip damage. So he can actually reach numbers like 4.6 million power flip, which is completely bonkers to me, right? So that's something that you can do. I think the current setup that I'm using, I can do up to about 3.6, that's the highest that I've seen. And it's not that common as well. You need to land a 9 combo, you need to have a lot of fire debuffs, and then you need to stack a level 3 power flip. So it is pretty manageable since you are using a lot of multi-balls, right? But it's just not that common. But regardless, I think you don't even need to prompt like super high level power flips all the time. You can just use like level 1, level 2 power flips and the boss goes down so quickly, right? And I think even on pubs, well, at least on the C server, okay, I understand that in the North American servers, your pubs are really a little bit trash. But at least in the C server, people generally run sensible teams. Shout out to my C server people. And yeah, our average runs are generally about 1.5 minutes. The 2-minute runs are usually the slower ones. And in fact, we are carrying Hu over here, aka player number 3. So yeah, that's it for the run, I guess. It's pretty easy. So at this point, it's just a matter of spamming bells. And that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the 2 runs that I've just shown you. And if you liked today's video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, it really helps the channel. This has been free to play, by the way, and as always, I will see you in the next video.